Hello, it is about 6:30, yes, on Friday, March 19th, I think is the date, and the Becca'S 48-hour Bookopoly Readathon starts at 7 my time, so I just wanted to pop on and start this vlog because I am planning on vlogging my experience doing that. The first reading sprints, like I mentioned, start at 7, and I want to show you guys what I'm planning on reading for that, but I have to go grab it. Matt popped off to go grab something to eat. I'm making myself some soup. I'll link the recipe down below if you care. It's paneer water zoi poulet. I don't know exactly how it's pronounced. I see Matt's car coming back. That's awkward. He'll be here soon. But I'm going to be reading Days of Blood and Starlight because the first two prompts were read a fantasy or read a book with a dark cover, and this is both. So I am already like 200 pages into it, but it is like 500 pages long. So hopefully I can finish this tonight before I go to bed. I'm planning on trying to go to bed around midnight or 1 because I would like to be up kind of close to when the next roll drop happens, which is tomorrow at 7 a.m. But I just wanted to pop on, let you know what I was reading for this, start this vlog, and then also let you know that I'm going to be vlogging this experience, I guess. I don't really know. But I'm going to go eat dinner now, and then I'll tune into the live spreads on Becca'S channel as soon as it's 7.
I don't really know what you mean when you say I'm not what you need. Cause I've seen that look you give me.
Got a snack haul. I'm vlogging. So we bought Doritos. That's empty, but it's been there. We also have iced animal crackers, Diet Coke, and there was ice cream somewhere, but I think it's already been put away. We're ready to do this now. All right, I just got back from the store on a snack run, which I showed you my little bounty a second ago, but we're still sprinting on Becca'S channel, but I thought I would show you or talk to you about how the book is going. So like I said, I have a very precarious situation over here. I don't know if you can see that, but Murphy just farted, and now he's sniffing his butt because he's very concerned about it. Are you okay? I am currently 339 pages into Days of Blood and Starlight, which means I have a little under 200 pages to go. So I'm hoping I can finish this tonight. That way I can just go to sleep like a normal person and wake up tomorrow, do the second roll drop, and figure out what I'm going to read for that. But I'm really enjoying where this is going, and there's definitely a lot of puzzle pieces that are kind of coming together. Like I mentioned, I'm pretty far into it, and it's the sequel to a book, so I'm not really going to tell you much about it, but we're still following Karoo and Akiva and the Chimera and the Angels and like figuring stuff out with them. But yeah, a lot of pieces are coming together that I wasn't really sure were going to, and one of my favorite characters just came back into play, so I'm pretty excited about that as well. And I'm excited that she will be here more. So I just wanted to update you. That's how that's going. They are in a sprint right now. Can you even see? Oh boy. Yeah. They've got 19 minutes left of a sprint, so I'm going to pick up, read for 19 more minutes, and then just keep going with them, and I'll let you know updates as we have them. And before I go to sleep, hopefully I will finish this book, and I'll let you know that I finished it. Got myself a bowl of Doritos to eat as just a snack, and I got a Diet Coke, so for some caffeine. So hopefully I'm able to stay up a little later, but I will check in with you later. Hello, it is now about 1:30 in the morning, and I have finished Days of Blood and Starlight. So people are still sprinting, but I'm gonna go to sleep, and the next roll drop will happen at 7 my time, so when I wake up tomorrow, I'll know the next prompt, and then I'll pick another book. I have 2 books left on my TBR that I need to get to that I was hoping to do this weekend, so I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that I can get to either of them. It's Tender as the Flesh by Agustina Bastarica and the Happy Ever After playlist by Abby Jimenez, I think is her name. I don't remember what her first name is. But anyways, I'm hoping one of those books will fit one of the prompts that happens tomorrow. But for now, I'm going to go to sleep, and I will catch up with you guys in the morning. Good morning, it's the next day. The second roll drops have hit, so the prompts are to read a contemporary or read a book featuring characters of color written by a person of color. And so I'm going to read the Happy Ever After playlist by Abby Jimenez. I don't know that the characters are necessarily supposed to be characters of color in this book. Abby Jimenez is Latinx, and she's also like a Food Network person. She won a Food Network show, which is interesting. But this is the second book in her Friend Zone series, which is like a series of standalones, kind of like The Kiss Quotient or Get a Life Chloe Brown or whatever, where it's just the subsequent books after the first one follow side characters in the first one, I'm pretty sure. And I think there are 3. So I feel like the premise of this book spoils part of the first book, which is interesting. So it's like they're more like sequels than not. But it follows a side character who is finding love in this book, and it's set 2 years after the first book ended, and she finds this guy's dog, basically, and he is a musician, so he was touring, and then he calls her and is like, hey, I need my dog back, because she found it while he was on tour or something. I haven't started it, obviously, but I think this fits. It definitely fits contemporary, because it's contemporary romance, and I don't know if the characters are characters of color, but I do know the author's a woman of color, so assuming that they are, then it would be Ona Voices, assuming that they are also Latinx characters. But yeah, I'm excited to get into this one, and I will let you know how I'm finding it.
When you say I'm not what you need, 'cause I've seen the look you give me, and it's a silent killer. I've been waiting for you all night, just face it. I'm gonna make you mine, I'll be your angel. You got it right, be my silent killer. Ooh. Silent killer. Strike a match in me with your eyes. It's a feeling I can't describe. You poison every feeling inside, just like a silent killer. Oh, babe, when you come around, everything goes quiet. Every pop champagne, every shotgun siren, I'm losing my mind, but I just can't fight it. You know. I've been waiting for you all night, just face it. I'm gonna make you mine, I'll be your angel. You got it right, be my silent killer. Ooh, you're romantic, you're romantic, you're romantic, you're romantic, the silent killer. Ooh, you're romantic, you're romantic,
Okay, so I'm about 60 pages in to the Happy Ever After playlist, and it's really cute, but I mentioned that the author of it was on the Food Network, and she like owns, I don't know if I mentioned she was on Cupcake Wars, and she owns a cupcake shop called Nadia Cakes, and she name dropped her own shop in this book, which is pretty funny. Anyways, I just wanted to say that. I'm doing sprints on Ashley from A Frolic Through Fiction's channel. That's what it's called, right? Now that I'm saying that, I don't know if that's right. Yeah, A Frolic Through Fiction. But they've been sprinting since I think 7 a.m. my time, so I think they're about to stop. But I just wanted to let you know that I'm reading, I guess. Hello, it is now just after 7, and I finished the Happy Ever After playlist by Abby Jimenez a little bit earlier. I literally finished at like 6:50, so perfect timing for the next roll drop, which just happened. I'm watching the sprints that Gavin is doing. I don't know how long I'm gonna stay on them. I might watch them the whole time, or I might only watch for a little bit, but I did enjoy this a lot more than I enjoyed The Friend Zone by the same author that I read back in January. So this follows, like I mentioned, one of the side characters from that book, and she finds this dog, and when she contacts the owner to get him back, they sort of have this romance that goes from there, and he's a musician who's on tour in Australia at the time that she's living in LA, and she found his dog. And then, like I mentioned, it goes on from there, and she's also suffering from the loss of a loved one. She was engaged and her fiance died, which is really, really sad. So this book deals a lot with grief and loss of a loved one, like I mentioned. So if that's going to bother you, then I would not recommend picking this up because it does definitely focus on her process of getting help for herself and figuring out how to handle grief, and realizing that she hasn't been handling the grief for the last 2 years since her fiance passed. So there's definitely some heavier subject matter in here, but it's also just like light and fluffy. My biggest qualms with this book probably are that I felt like so a lot of romances have the like, they get together, but will they stay together? But then they love each other, but do they love each other enough? Like the ebbs and flows. It felt really rushed in this case, and I think that can sometimes happen in romance, and I don't think that's a big problem for everybody, but for me, it just felt like it was very hot and cold, which I don't always love. It kind of, the do we or don't we gets old for me after a little bit, because it's like you either do or you don't, so just make a choice. But that might just be a me thing. Also, this author, she did this in The Friend Zone as well, and it was something that turned me off of that book. But the female characters in these books are not old. They're not like super old. They're not like teenagers, but in The Friend Zone, the female character is 24, and this is 2 years later, and this is one of the side characters now, and she's 26 now. And a big plot in both of these books is whether or not these women will be able to have children right away. And I just think that the concept of getting married really young and having kids really young, I know that people do that, and I think that's totally great. If that's what you want to do, then that's fine. I'm not here to shame anybody for doing that. But the way that it's handled in this book, it's almost as if, like, if this 26-year-old cannot get married right now and have a kid right now, like, her life is over. And, like, something's come up with her fiance being a musician, or not her fiance, with the love interest being a musician and being on tour, and her wondering, like, well, if he's on tour for the next 3 years, like, I can't have kids for 3 years, which to me is just, like, I don't know, kind of ridiculous to think of when you're 26, for that to be, like, I don't know, because it's not like you won't be able to have kids ever, or whatever, I don't know. So I do understand that, like, having kids is a big part of people's lives, and people want to do that, but I guess because I don't really want to have kids right now, or anytime soon, it's, like, weird for me to imagine someone my age, and, like, to relate to a character that's supposed to be my age. It's better in this book because she's a year older than me, I guess, but in The Friend Zone, they were younger than I was, and I was like, I don't understand why you want this right now, or, like, why it's the end of the world if it doesn't happen right now, rather, because I do understand why people want that right now. Like, I get it. If that's what you want, that's what you want, but, like, you know what I mean? So that was kind of meh on this one, but I ended up giving it 4 years. I ended up giving it 4 stars. Friend Zone I gave 2 stars because I really didn't like it, but this one I did enjoy, and I teared up. It did get me a little emotional, mostly with her handling her grief and the love interest in it being so good and kind to her about that grief. So the new roll drops were read a book that's the first book in a series, and I don't really have any series that I want to start right now. Like, I have series that I could start, but none that I'm really dying to start, and none that are on my TBR. So then the other one is to read a chance card, and for that I just flipped a coin. I have 2 books that I could have chosen between. Everything by Leslie Jameson, which I finally got from my library. It was on hold for like 2 months. It's like a 500-page non-fiction book, and then I ended up getting what I wanted to read, which is good, which is Tinder's the Blush by Agustina Basterica, who is an Argentine author, so I'm really excited to read this. So this is like it's a horror book, horror dystopian, I believe, and it's set in the future where, for whatever reason, people can no longer farm animals to eat, so they are farming other people to eat, and it's about, like, cannibalism in a futuristic society. So I'm very interested to see how this plays out. It's not super long, which is good, because that means I can probably finish it, but It's about 209 pages. They're doing sprints right now. I need to edit the vlog that has to go up tomorrow, so I think I'm going to work on that for the first like couple hours here, and then maybe I'll start reading this later. I haven't decided, but yeah, I'll update you with how this is going. Hello, it is Sunday. It's about 2:20, I think. So I'm gonna pick this up and read some more. I didn't end up reading any of it last night. I edited my video and then I was just kind of like done and tired and bored and didn't want to read, so I didn't. But I've read about 30 pages so far today. I've also grocery shopped and done some other stuff around the house. But I'm about to sit down and read until Becca'S live, and then I'm gonna read through Becca'S live, and hopefully I can finish this. It is like just over 200 pages, so it shouldn't take me all that long to read. So I'm pretty excited that I'm hopefully going to get through this, and this will be my third book that I've read, or that I finished, I guess, for this weekend vlog, which is really exciting. But I'm watching old sprints from Molly's channel from last weekend because I missed them, and I saved them to my watch later so that I can like sprint with people. It makes reading like easier for whatever reason. I don't know. I'm sure there's something like psychological behind like feeling like you're doing something with other people, but yes, I'm really enjoying this so far. It's very dark and like heavy, and I like the writing a lot, which I always am worried about because with translated works, you're not really reading the actual author's writing, you're reading someone's translation of that, but I think this translated really well so far. So yeah, I am enjoying this. This is following a character named Tejo who works at a meat packing plant, but the meat that he's packing is human rather than cow or pig or whatever, because all animals on Earth have gotten this disease, which makes them unsafe to eat, and they've basically been destroyed because the disease can be passed to humans. And so it's just like going through how Tejo's sort of grappling with this challenge, and like how like it's illegal now to call the people who are being eaten people or human. They're just called special meat, which is really creepy. And then they just went to a barbecue where they ate like a human child to celebrate one of the like farmhands at this packing plant, or this like industrial farm. One of the people who works there, his wife is pregnant. And so to celebrate that he is going to have a child, they ate a human child, which is just like really disorienting. There's also a guy who makes leather out of human skin, and they are needing like imported people from Africa because they need black skin. This is set in Argentina, by the way. I don't know if I already mentioned that, but this is an Argentine novel originally. So it's very creepy, very dark, and I'm really interested to see where it's going because it feels less like plot driven and more like we are just going to be driven to madness with Tejo, which is pretty exciting. Or well, which is like interesting. It's an interesting concept to me, so I am really enjoying this. Also, Tejo's wife doesn't live with him anymore, so I hope we find out more about sort of what is going on with her, because he's talked to his mother-in-law and she says that his wife isn't ready to come home, and it sounds like maybe she's been driven mad, and so maybe Tejo will be driven mad as well. But I will keep you updated with how this goes, and hopefully I can finish this by 7 with the rest of this readathon and wrap this vlog up. It is now almost 6 o'clock and I finished my third book of the weekend, so I'm considering this a successful little weekend readathon. I know some people read like 8 books for this. That was never my intention. My goal was actually to read 4 books, but since I didn't read this last night, I didn't pick anything else up today besides this. I just read this, and I'm very satisfied with the progress that I made. I read 370 pages of this, which is all of it. 209 pages, I think. 209 pages of this, which puts me at 579 pages. And then I want to say I read just under 300 pages of this as well. So for me, that's a super successful reading weekend, and I'm very happy with it. And I gave everything 4 stars. So it was a pretty good reading weekend, quality-wise as well as quantity-wise. I was so close to giving this 5 stars just because I enjoyed it so much, and I did think it was so like deeply gruesome and haunting, but I did run it through Cop Isle and it was just shy of a 5 star. part of that is, it felt, okay, so I don't eat any meat, I'm a vegetarian, and then I know a lot of people who are flexitarians or leaning more plant-based in their daily lives and trying to cut out meat and dairy products from their everyday eating, I guess, routines, or their everyday habits. And so for me, just the concept of people running out of meat and their first thought being to cannibalize doesn't really make a lot of sense. But once you buy into that, the rest of the story makes sense. And I think you have to sort of suspend your disbelief and buy into that for this book to make any kind of impact on you at all. Also, definitely like trigger warnings for animal abuse, for like descriptions of torture, and like it's about cannibalism. So just like know that, obviously, and then look into more specific things if there are more specific things that are going to bother you. I've mentioned this before, I'm not really the type of person who gets triggered. This book was really disturbing and hard to read, I think, at parts, just because of the matter-of-fact way that the author describes the events of this book and the things that happened to people and that people are doing to each other. But like I said, I'm not the type of person who's gonna have like, I'll have an emotional reaction to something, but it won't be such that it will harm me, if that makes sense. So you know yourself as a reader, you know what you're like and what will bother you and what you can and cannot consume. So just know that before going into this. But this is another one of those books that I loved, and I think if you look into it and do your own research and decide that it's something that you can read, I would recommend it. But also I understand that this book is not for everybody, and I do not think this is the type of book that I would like widely recommend. Whereas there are other books that I really enjoy that I do think like couldn't hurt to give it a shot. That one I think could probably hurt to give it a shot if you're not the right reader for it. But yeah, I am super happy with my progress on my 3 books for the weekend. And I'm going to make myself dinner and then probably get a head start on editing this vlog so that I can go up hopefully on Thursday. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. If you participated in this reading vlog or this readathon and you vlogged your experience, link it down below. I would love to watch your vlog. And let me know, as always, if you've read any of these books and what you thought about them. And I will see you in my next video. Bye!
I should've told you that I love